Hello everyone, let us see the continuation of your module 3. As we have studied why we need optimization and what is an adaptation and adoption model, and we have studied about IPv6, like how to take the transition from IPv4 to IPv6 in the last presentation. Again, we are optimizing the internet protocol for the IoT purpose. Andre, as we have seen that internet protocol is being used efficiently by your Internet of Things, we have to optimize this internet protocol in some of the layers in order to have the features that has been adopted by your internet protocol. Coming to this optimization IP for IoT, why we need to optimize this thing is in order to make use of this constraint nodes ಮತ್ತೆ constraint networks ನಾವು features ನ provide ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು correct way ನಲ್ಲಿ use ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ we will go for this optimization. ನಾನು ಏನಾದರೂ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಆರ್ಕಿಟೆಕ್ಚರ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ one layer ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು along with the other protocols, if I make use of this internet protocol, then I can have a successful thing in the field of IoT. And we have some of the optimization techniques that has been already available in the market allo available ide, and that is the under deployment by the IETF organization. IETF ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is deploying those available optimization techniques. And next we have a figure here where it is highlighting the TCP IP layers. Where internet protocol, this acts as a key for the successful thing in the IoT field. As we all seen that constraint nodes ಮತ್ತು constraint networks ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ. and ಅದು ಏನಕ್ಕಪ್ಪ ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಪ್ಟಿಮೈಸೇಷನ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ in order to have the successful solution for this particular constraint nodes and constraint networks. In the same way, IETF has been provided some of the optimization techniques that has been already available in the market. Next, we have a figure which is going to tell us about the TCP or IP layers. Next, let us see what is this from 6LoWPAN to 6Low. That is, for in 6LoWPAN, we had some of the constraint nodes and the constraint devices. And if I add IP, that is your internet protocol, to that particular architecture, how it is being going to convert it into 6Low. As if I make use of this IP architecture, ನಾನೇನಾದ್ರೂ IP architecture ನ use ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the transportation of packets, IP packets ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, that is from your layer 1 to layer 2 ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ to other different layers. How the transmission is taking place, that should be maintained in a document. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ, ಯಾವ protocols use ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ, and everything should be in a form of a document type. In the same way, the model for packaging IP. ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ನಾವು IP ನ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ into your, I mean, if I'm adopting or if I am combining this IP package into your lower layer protocols. Lower layer protocols ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ನಾನು ಈ IP protocol ನ insert ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಥವಾ if I am combining ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ then it has been referred to as our adaptation layer. ಅಂದ್ರೆ I am adding the IP to your other layers in order to make use of the features that has been provided by your internet protocol. In the same way, unless the technology is a proprietary one, ಆ proprietary ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾವು adaptation layers ನ use ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, and that has been defined by your IETF. IETF organization ಅದನ್ನ define ಮಾಡಿದೆ, where it will work in group and released as a request for comments. Request for comments ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು proprietary ನ ಅದು release ಮಾಡ್ತು. What is this RFC ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ RFC is just a publication. ಇದು ಒಂದು publication ತರ act ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, that has been created by your IETF. ಈ publication ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ and what are the specifications that we are going to use, ಮತ್ತೆ protocols ಯಾವ್ದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ and what are the procedures that has been used and the events. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ತರ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. And we have some of the RFCs like RFC 864, RFC 2464 ಅಂತ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ವರ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. RFC 864 ನ ನಾನು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, that is an example of your RFC. ಅದೇನ್ ಹೇಳತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will tell how IPv4 packets gets encapsulated. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಎನ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ over an ethernet frame. How I am going to encapsulate that over an ethernet frame ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ RFC 864 will tell us. In the same way, if I consider RFC 2464 ನ consider ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it will tell us how the same function is performed. ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is just with respect to your IPv6. If I consider RFC 864, it is with your IPv4. If I consider it with respect to your IPv6 ಜೊತೆ compare ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it is your RFC 2464. This is about your RFC, where it is a publication from IETF organization and the documents are act ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, where document will contain all these things, that is your internet standard specification, protocols, procedure and the events. As I have told, RFC 864 is for your IPv4. ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಯಾವ ತರ encapsulate ಆಗಿದೆ over your Ethernet. Ethernet ನ ಯೂಸ್ Ethernet technology ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ how just the packet is getting encapsulated using IPv4. In the same way, if I make use of this RFC 2464, it is with respect to your IPv6 packet. IPv6 packet ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು IPv6 packet ನ consider ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ we will go for RFC 2464. If I consider IPv4 packet, I will consider RFC 864. This is about your RFC, that is your request for comments. Next, the main example of this adaptation layer, ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಆಪ್ಟಿಮೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಆಪ್ಟಿಮೈಸೇಷನ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ನ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು IP protocols ನಾವು like we have to merge or we have to combine with the other protocols in each layer or in a particular layer ಅಂದ್ರೆ in order to use this constraint nodes also, in order to have the communication or in order to make use of this constraint nodes or network for the ಸಕ್ಸೆಸರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ IoT ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೈನ್ ನೋಡ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, we will adopt this optimization technique. So using this adaptation or optimization technique, we have moved forward from 6LoWPAN. 6LoWPAN in the we have moved to a group called as 6Low, where 6Low will also contain your constraint nodes. And the constraint nodes idrunu idu overcome ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ by making use of the adaptation layers optimized technique. Initially 6LoWPAN ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು focus ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ it was focusing on the optimizing it. The focus was in order to optimize the transmission of IPv6 packets. Just IPv6 ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ಏನಾದರೂ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೈನ್ ನೋಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಧ್ಯ ಸೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಮಿಟ್ ದ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಆಫ್ IPv6 ಟೈಪ್ ಆ ಥರ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಆಪ್ಟಿಮೈಸೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 6LoWPAN ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ I can have your IEEE 802.154 technology. Here we have the comparison of your IoT protocol stack and the IP protocol stack, where your IoT protocol stack will make use of your 6LoWPAN adaptation layer, where it will adapt a layer called as your 6LoWPAN, and and this is your IP protocol stack. In your IP protocol stack, in the application layer, we can use your higher level protocols, that is your HTTP or RTP protocol. In the transport layer, you can have connection oriented or connectionless using TCP or UDP. You can also have this ICMP protocol, and we have the IP protocol that is embedded in the network layer. Next we have, this is your MAC layer in the physical layer. MAC layer is also called as your data link layer. In the same way, if I consider this 802.15.4, we have physical layer, MAC layer and LoWPAN. This is your adaptation layer. And in the network layer, we have IP6, IPv6, that is the version 6. And in order to transport the packet or transmit the packet, we have UDP or ICMP. Where it is of a wireless technique, so we will make use of either UDP or ICMP. We will not consider the TCP protocol. In the application layer, we can make use of the application protocols which are available based on the architecture. So this is how the comparison takes place between your IP protocol stack and the IoT protocol stack with 6LoWPAN adaptation layer. 6LoWPAN working group published several RFCs. Tumba RFCs na provide ಮಾಡಿದೆ. As we have seen, that is your RFC 864 and RFC 2464 in the previous slides. We have one more RFC here, that is your 4994, that is 4994. It acts as a foundation. It acts as a base because it will define how the frame headers are. Frame headers ಹೆಂಗಿದೆ, then how the structure is. Frame headers ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ತರ capabilities ಇರುತ್ತೆ. The frame header may contain the capabilities like header compression. Header ನ ಯಾವ ತರ compress ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, or fragmentation. If the packet is too big or the length of the packet is high, then we will go for this fragmentation technique. And the topology, in the topology we will make use of mesh topology, hence we will use this mesh addressing type. These headers can be stacked in the adaptation layer. Adaptation layer ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು stack ಆಗಿ use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು headers ನ, where this will separate while enforcing a structured method for expressing each capability. So it will have the separate concepts in the capability field, where depending on the implementation, all or none or any combination of these capabilities and their corresponding headers can be enabled. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಬೇಕೋ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಹೆಡರ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲಾ capabilities ನ ನಾವು ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ enable ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬಹುದು. It all depends on how the implementation is going to take place. And here we have a figure which will represent the header stack. Actually, this is the basic structure where you will have the header, then we have IPv6 header compression, then we have the IPv6 payload. If the payload or the data goes beyond this payload length what we have assigned, then we have to go for the technique called as your fragmentation technique. We will divide that particular packet length into number of fragments, then we will send those fragments. If I need to have that fragmentation, then I'll add this fragment header. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು implementation time ಅಲ್ಲಿ fragmentation ನ use ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, then I will add the fragmentation header into your header stack. In the same way, if I am going to use this mesh topology, then I'll add this mesh addressing header. If I am using both the combination, I'll add both fragment header and the mesh addressing header. This is how I can add or I can enable the capabilities during my implementation. Next topic we have here is the header compression, where the header compression for your 6-LoWPAN can be defined using your RFC 4944 at the initial stage, and later it can be updated using your RFC 6282. So these are the two RFCs that are required in order to define how the header compression is taking place in your 6-LoWPAN. And ಇದು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಡರ್ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿ IPv6 ಹೆಡರ್ ಬೈಟ್ಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 40 ಬೈಟ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ and user datagram ನಮಗೆ 8 bytes ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So total by your header ಮತ್ತೆ UDP ಇಂದಾನೆ ನಮಗೆ 48 bytes of data will be acquired by these two things. So ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ if I compress that header information ಮತ್ತೆ UDP information ನ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ where it can be compressed to just 6 bytes. 6 bytes ಗೆ ನಾನು ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ I can lower the bytes that has been acquired by your header in the UDP protocol, where your header will be compressed to just 2 bytes. Header ನಮಗೆ 2 bytes ಮಾತ್ರ acquire ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ and UDP will acquire the 4 bytes. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 40 bytes ಇಂದ 2 bytes ಗೆ header ನ compress ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ and in the same way UDP will be compressed to 4 bytes. In the same way, this header compression will be applied to your IPv6 only. IPv6 ಮಾತ್ರ IPv6 header ಮಾತ್ರ apply ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ and not for your IPv4 header. Because IPv4 ನ use ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will not support your 6-LoWPAN protocol, where because no standardized IPv4 adaptation layer is available. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ತರ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋ ಕಾರಣ IPv4 ನ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾಗ ಆ 6-LoWPAN protocol ನ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. And in 6-LoWPAN header compression is a stateless. It is of a stateless one, and the factors which will affect the compression, ಯಾವ ತರ compression ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ some of the factors will affect. What are those factors ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ we have some of the implementation. How to implement this RFC 4944 and RFC 6922. Along with these two, we have some of the factors which will affect the amount of compression is whether UDP is included. Now UDP na include ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಥವಾ various IPv6 addressing scenarios, what type of addressing we are using in IPv6. So these are the factors which will affect your header compression. Most importantly, the header compression ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will allow the payload to more than double ಅಂದ್ರೆ 53 bytes ಇರೋದನ್ನ double ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, which is obviously much more efficient when in order to have a large size of payload. Note that 2 bytes of header compression applies to intra-cell communication, while communication to external cell may require some fields of the header not to be compressed. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ within a local network ನಾನು communicate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ then 2 byte of header information is sufficient for me in order to have the communication within the network or the local network where I am. But ನಾನು external network ಜೊತೆ communicate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ then I need some of the header information along with this 2 bytes of data. 2 bytes of header information ಏನಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ I may require some of the other header information. So this is how the header compression will helps in your 6LoWPAN. So 1 byte datagram size field specifies the total size of the unfragmented payload. 1 byte of data ಏನಾದ್ರೂ datagram size ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it will tell unfragmented payload. Datagram tag will tell you that set of fragments of a payload. ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು set of fragments ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Datagram size will specify how much of unfragmented payload ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Finally datagram offset ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will tell how far into a payload a particular fragment occurs. ಎಷ್ಟು ಲೈಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ತರ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. We have a figure here which will tell us about the fragmentation, where it is of your header part and this is just a 1 byte, that is your datagram size is of a 1 byte and it will provide the information about your unfragmented payload. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದು ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ payload ಬಗ್ಗೆ information ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Next we have the datagram tag. This is of 2 bytes ಇರುತ್ತೆ and it will tell like what is the set of fragments for a payload. ಒಂದು payload ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು set of fragments ನಾವು ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Next we have the datagram offset. So datagram offset delineates how far into a payload. ಇನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಇದೆ payload ಅಂದ್ರೆ fragmentation occur ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ how much distance it is requiring. So these are the things that are been associated with your fragmentation. As we have seen in the figure, fragmentation header fields uses a unique bit value in order to identify whether the subsequent fields behind it are fragmented fields as opposed to another capability such as header compression. And we have the first fragment, that is your data offset field will not be present in your first fragment. First fragment ಏನಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅಂದ್ರೆ packet ನ ನಾವು divide ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ first fragment ಯಾವ್ದು ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೋ for that, we will not apply any datagram offset field and it will be set to 0. This results in the first fragment header of IPv6 payload only being 4 bytes long. 4 bytes matra irutte because datagram offset, that is 1 byte, will be set to 0. The remainder of the fragments will have 5 bytes header field. 5 bytes header field irutte. So appropriate header information na ನಾವು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ specify ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಡೇಟಾ ಆಫ್ಸೆಟ್ ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ದ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು 5 bytes ಆಫ್ ಹೆಡರ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Next we have the mesh addressing. What is this mesh addressing? In order to forward the packets, we will make use of this topology that is called as your mesh topology. Using hops, multiple hops na use madkondo I'll reach the destination or I'll send the data. The purpose of 6LoWPAN mesh addressing function ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ in order to forward the packet from one source to the other destination using multiple hops. One hop ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ it may take 2 or more hops in order to forward reach the destination. We have 3 fields again. For fragmentation ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ 3 parts ಇತ್ತು, that is your datagram size, tag and the offset. In the same way, mesh addressing also contains 3 parts, that is your hop limit, andre how much hop that a packet can take, what is the source address, andre yav node data na ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು source address, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು destination address ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು receiver ಆಗಿ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಅವ್ರ address ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕು. So these are the 3 things that will be composed. These 3 things will compose your header part. Hop limit ಏನ್ನ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will also provide the upper limit on how many times the frame can be forwarded. If I tell that hop limit is 3 means it can move to 3 nodes. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು 3 node ಮಾತ್ರ ಅದು ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, it cannot go for the 4th node. Each hop decrements this value by 1 as it is forwarded. ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ ಈ node ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸೊ ನಾನು 3 ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ if I hop to this next node ಗೆ ಹಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the setted value ನಾನು 3 ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸೊ ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ 2 ಗೆ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ it will be decremented by 1. Once the value hits 0 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ಈ ನೋಡಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ನಾನು ಏನ್ 3 ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ 3 hops incomplete ಆಗುತ್ತೆ and that hit becomes 0 ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ I'll drop that particular packet and the packet will no longer will be available. ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ because the packet will be lost. The source address ಮತ್ತು destination address, as we all know that the one who sends acts as the source, the one who receives acts as the destination. The particular address of that source and destination is called as your source address and the destination address. This source address and destination address in your mesh addressing for your IEEE 802.15.4, which will address the endpoints of an IP hop details. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಎಂಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ and ಯಾವ ಎಂಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. This is how your mesh addressing header will look like. We have the 802.15.4 header and we have here the hop count. 1 byte is being used for your hop count and 2 bytes is for your source address, 2 bytes for your destination address. So this is how your mesh addressing will look like. Mesh addressing header is used in a single IP subnet and it is of a layer 2 type of routing known as mesh under. ನಾವೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು IP ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ and layer 2 type of routing ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ then we will call that particular mesh addressing as a mesh under. RFC 4944 only provisions the functions in the case of where it ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು layer 2 ನ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ RFC 4944 provision ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will provide some of the functions where it will have the specification and it will provide the scope ಅಥವಾ features outside the 6LoWPAN working group and the IETF doesn't define the layer 2 routing. And implementation performing layer 3. Layer 3 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ನಾನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ that is your IP routing and doesn't require or doesn't need to implement a mesh addressing header unless required given by a given technology profile, which means application, if I am implementing that in layer 3, ನಾನು layer 2 ನಲ್ಲಿ implement ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ that thing is called as your mesh under. ನಾನು layer 3 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅದನ್ನ implement ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ then IP routing is not needed to implement a mesh addressing. IP routing ಅದಾಗಿದೆ ಅದೇ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ and I may not require this mesh addressing and this depends on your technology profile. Next we have mesh under versus mesh over routing. What is this mesh under and mesh over routing? If the mesh addressing is going to take place in the layer 2, then we will call that as mesh under. Let us see what is this mesh over routing. Some of the technologies like 802.14, 802.15.4g and 1901.2a will support the mesh topologies, as we have studied these technologies in the previous module, and it will operate at the physical and the MAC layer. MAC layer is also called as your data link layer. Two main options exist for establishing the reachability and forwarding packets. Reachability is nothing but the connectivity, and we will forward the packet from one node to the other node. The first option here we have, where as I have told here, two options. The first option will be handled by your mesh under. Mesh under ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ where the routing of the packets will be handled by your 6LoWPAN adaptation layer. 6LoWPAN adaptation layer ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? It will manage how the routing should be taken, how the packet should be forwarded using the mesh under technique. The other option here we called as a mesh over or a root over, where it will make use of this IP routing protocols in order to forward the packets. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನೇಷನ್ ರೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ it will make use of your internet protocol than your 6LoWPAN adaptation layer. ನಾನು 6LoWPAN adaptation layer ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ ನ ರೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ then that particular thing is called as your mesh under. If I am making use of internet protocol routing technique in order to reach the destination, then that is called as your mesh over or the root over. So these are the difference between your mesh under and the mesh over. The term mesh under is used because multiple links layer hops can be used in order to complete a single IP hop. ನಾವು ಈ ಮೆಶ್ ಓವರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹಾಪ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ IP ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೋಕಾಲ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹಾಪ್ ತಗೊಳುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮೆಶ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ I may require multiple hops in order to complete a single internet protocol hop. So nodes have a layer 2 forwarding table which will consult to route the packets to the final destination within the mesh. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಮೆಶ್ ಟೊಪಾಲಜಿ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನೇಷನ್ ಗೆ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ ನ ರೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ we have to provide the route. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ where layer 2 will tell that in what way the packet has to be moved in order to reach the destination. And we have the gateway. An end gateway terminates the mesh under domain. ನಾವು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು gateway ನ end ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ which will terminate, which will closes the mesh under domain. The edge gateway also implements a mechanism in order to translate between the configured layer 2 ಮತ್ತೆ layer 3 ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರುವಂತ protocols ಅಥವಾ IP routing mechanisms ನ ನಾವು layer 3 that is in network layer ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ತರ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಗರೇಷನ್ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು layer 2 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಮೆಶ್ ಓವರ್ ಅಥವಾ ರೂಟ್ ಓವರ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೇಯರ್ 3 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ and this routing will utilize for computing reachability and it will forward the packet to your destination. Either it can be inside the mesh domain ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೇ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಮೆಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ it could be the other mesh network. Here full functioning nodes acts as the IP router. So each link layer hop is an IP hop. one layer ಇಂದ one link ಇಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲಿಂಕ್ ಹಾಪ್ ಆಗೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು IP hop ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ನೋಡ್ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ if it is working properly or correct fully, then that particular node is called as your IP router. And 6LoWPAN ನ ನಾವೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ by making use of some of the different link technologies andre then that can be act as your mesh over routing setup itself. if I make use of 6LoWPAN ಏನಾದ್ರು different link layer technologies ನ use ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that can act as your mesh over, because 6LoWPAN ನ ನಾವು mesh under ಅಲ್ಲಿ use ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. Along with your LoWPAN, if I make use of different link layer technologies, then that can act as your mesh over route. While the traditional IP routings can use some of the routing protocols in order to have the exchange, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೇಟಾನ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ನ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ, where we have some of the protocols called as RPL. RPL ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it stands for Routing Protocol for Low Power and Lossy Networks. Next we have 6LoW working group. What is this 6LoW working group? Here we have, that is the charter of 6LoW working group now called as an IPv6. IPv6 ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನು ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, that will be IPv6 will act on your network for resource constrained nodes. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ resources constrained ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, that nodes which have limitations to your resources. For that purpose, in order to provide the connectivity among those constrained nodes or network, ಆ limitation ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆಯೋ ಅಂತ nodes ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು connectivity ನ provide ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ we will make use of this IPv6. And in particular this group has been focused on the following. ಇದು initially ಒಂದಷ್ಟು features ಮೇಲೆ focus ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. What are those features that has been focused by your 6LoWPAN or 6LoWS? First one here we have is IPv6 over 4 adaptation layer specification using 6LoWPAN technologies for link layer technologies. ಅಂದ್ರೆ adaptation layer ನ easy ಆಗಿ ನಾನು layer technologies ಅಲ್ಲಿ adapt ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ we had some of these 6LoWPAN technologies. We use 6LoWPAN technologies in order to provide the adaptation layer specification. ಈ link layer technologies ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು adaptation layer specification ನ provide ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ I may use your RFC 4944 ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ RFC 6282 ಆಗ್ಬೋದು and RFC 6775. So I may use any one of the things in order to provide the adaptation layer specification for your IPv6. So we have some of the things that will be considered under your as an example under this IPv6 over 4 adaptation layer. The first one here we have here is IPv6 over Bluetooth low energy, that is BLE. BLE ಜೊತೆ IPv6 ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ IPv6 ಪ್ಯಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ನಿಯರ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ I can transmit these IPv6 packets, or I can make use of IPv6 with your 802.11h technology and transmission of IPv6 packets over DECT ultra low energy and transmission of IPv6 packets on via PA, that is your wireless network for industrial automation, process automation, and transmission of IPv6 over your master slave token passing, that is MSTP. So these are the some of the examples where IPv6 can be used. So the next one we have here is information and data models such as MIB modules. What is this? We have an example here that called RFC 7388, where it will provide some of the definitions for your objects over low power wireless personal networks, that is 6LoWPANs ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಾವು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. That is about the information and data models. Next we have optimizations that are applicable to more than one adaptation layer specification. Optimization na ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗೆ apply ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು for one or more adaptation layer specification. If it is of more than one adaptation layer, how the optimization can be done? Here we have some of the examples like RFC 7400, 6LoWPAN, that is 6LoWPAN GHC, that is GHC stands for generic header compression for your IPv6 low power wireless personal area network. Again we have 6LoWPANs. The last one we have here is informational and maintenance publication needed for the IETF specification in this area. like what are the information required, what should be published, and how the maintenance should be performed. So these are the things that should be considered. So these are the 4 things that your IPv6 or the 6LoWPAN working group will concentrate on. Next, we have the summary of your 6LoWPAN and 6Low. That is in the summary where 6Low is a standardized one, that the 6LoWPAN adaptation layer. Initially, ಇದು just ನಮಗೆ layer 2 protocol ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾತ್ರ concentrate ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. But based on the work of your 6LoWPAN ನ work ಮಾಡುವಾಗ group ಅವರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, we can go for the 6Low working group. They have moved to your 6Low working group, and the 6LoWPAN adaptation layer is becoming the de facto, and this is acting as a standard one for connecting constraint nodes. In order to have the connectivity between your constraint nodes jothe connectivity beku anta andre, where 6LoWPAN adaptation layer 6LoWPAN is acting as a standard one. It has been changed to a standardized protocol in order to provide the connectivity between the constraint network or the constraint nodes in the field of IoT. So this is how the 6LoWPAN has been occurred. That is, 6Low is working in a standardizing and the 6LoWPAN adaptation layer, where it will have some of the constraint node as we have seen, and that will be implemented or focused on the layer 2 protocols. In the same way, 6LoWPAN working group has been moved to your 6Low working group, and here the 6LoWPAN adaptation layer is acting as a standard one, default standard one for your connecting constraint nodes in the IoT field. This is the summary with respect to your 6LoWPAN and 6Low, or from the transition that has been taken from your 6LoWPAN to 6Low.